And my first guest is already safely ensconced. He's the leader of the Ginge army, one of the loudest, most vocal, passionate supporters of Nigel Twiston-Davies. He is John Neild, who is absolutely no stranger to being on stage. You were telling me last night, John, you're a bit of a singer in your time?
You know, I've been known to knock a tune out at some point, excuse me, will you? Yeah, it's really good to be here, Alan, on a lovely Sunday morning. I've never been up this early in years, so great fun.
You were up at Wetherby yesterday. Any day for Team Twister that's good's a good one for you, would you say?
Yeah, fantastic, yeah. And we had a good day Friday. Obviously, Splash of Ginge made his comeback on there Friday as well. But yeah, brilliant day. Great to see Ballyoptic get his head in front. And also Cap Gary, who's a horse that I've sort of been on the side of for a long time. And he put his head in front as well. So yeah, Nigel's on good form.
Hopefully we're going to speak to Sam as well in due course. We'll try and get him on the line. Splash of Ginge, were you happy with that? His comebacks go? He's generally a bit of a slow burner early season, isn't he?
Yeah, he always needs his run, you know. And obviously last year was a bit of a write-off with obviously the weather. We waited all year for the ground, didn't come. I was telling everyone how in that race 2 years ago, he was beaten 29 lengths by the same horse, and he came out to Cheltenham a fortnight later and won the Bet Victor, so he only got beat 25 lengths this time. And he ran right through the line. No, Sam was delighted with him. Obviously, we always expect a little bit better, but I was over the moon.
Okay.
And we'll hopefully then, if the rain gods are on our side one more time, maybe we'll have one more big day when it comes to a fortnight on Saturday.
Is it fair to say he's become something of a family pet, a friend, more than just a racehorse?
He's more than that to me anyway. He's just changed my life, really. You know, and like, I mean, I love national racing, grew up on it, and obviously living by 80. But I mean, if I think of the parties, I think he's been good for the Cotswold community.
He's certainly been good
funds.
He's been good for the Hollow Bottom Bar. Yeah. That's
I think we should have bought it, shouldn't we? There when it come on, would have been a cheaper option. But no, he's been amazing, and all that's down to Nige, Carl, and the team, Sparky, and everyone here generally looks after him. They've just done the job, you know.
Why the Cotswolds? Why Twiston-Davies? How did that come about?
Because as he has great joy in telling you, he's the only trainer, 2 Grand Nationals until Elliot. He'll say British trainer now.
But that would have been what you drew. You're a Merseyside man.
Purely and simply the National, yeah. My love for the National is, I think everyone knows, and they'll carry me out in the box before I stop trying to win that race. But yeah, Nige is just, and his record over the fences, you know, I think he's won every single race over the national fences. And again, he never tells you this, Nige. Well, not every other day anyway. He rings you up and you manage. Yeah. But yeah, that was the sole reason, really. Yeah.
And when you first went down there, when you first met him, what were your impressions of the setup?
He ignored me. Carl Llewellyn was the only one who spoke to me, but Carl probably thought I wanted to buy a house off him, you know. So no, he is the way he is. Nige is incredibly professional, you know, and he's a very focused guy on what he does, and obviously he's heard it all before from people. There's this big mouth scouser walking in saying he wants to win the Grand National, but he only wants to spend 20 grand on a horse, and Nige is laughing his head off. But, you know, I just knew from the day on, he's honest, you know. He doesn't like it, he doesn't give you any of the spiel that we hear so often in racing. And he's amazing, really. He's a great guy.
And it sounds, speaking to you, that you've got absolute faith in his judgment making. You know, when it comes to saying what you're going to do, what is achievable, what's doable, you believe in it.
Well, he never tells me. I'll get an email with an entry. I mean, one of the best stories ever. I mean, I think Sam and Carl will tell you, when he entered us in the Betfair Hale, and I think they were all in the office, Sam, Carl, everyone was in the office, and they were laughing. They thought it was an absolutely ridiculous thing to do. And then, you know, I think a month later he goes and wins it at 33-1, and Nige just has great fun in sticking his finger in their faces going, I told you so, you know, no. But, you know, they're the sort of things that, I think when you're at the top of your sport, you have to have that level of belief that other people don't have. That's why they haven't been a trainer for 35 years and Nige is, you know. And I think there's nothing better than your trainer ringing you up and saying, we're going for something big.
And then doing it.
And then pulling it off more than once.
And your love of horse racing came from the family?
Yeah. My nan originally running illegal bets in Sparrow for it. But Charlotte Red was a nickname with the bookies. But so yeah, my nan and then my dad obviously, just, you know, I think the classic story, ITV. I mean, Liverpool is, I think we were talking last night as well, 3 things, you know what I mean? It's racing,
yeah,
right? It's football and it's boxing. And you're either doing one of those 3 things, or you're gambling on it, or you're going to watch it. And like racing is just, I love that word, ensconced in what we do.
Yeah. So it was initially through family, having a bet, following it on telly. Where do you start to join the dots to becoming more heavily involved?
Well, I went to Henry Candy's then. I used to write letters to John Oaksey, who's John Oakes then Lord Oaksy.
Yeah.
And I want to be a jockey because I was a midget, really. So wrote letters to him, and then I went to Henry Candy's, and he was a lovely man. He doesn't even remember me now. I bumped into him, and he doesn't know who I am. Obviously, I didn't have grey hair then. I was only 14. But that came when I was 16. But anyway, Henry just really nicely said, John, you seem like a bright lad. You've got absolutely no chance of ever being a jockey. So I cried all the way home. Told us to went home to my mum, said I hate them posh people. So then when I eventually had enough money to lose, that's all I ever wanted to do was own a horse. It's the next best thing, innit? I wasn't good enough to be a jockey, right? I'm never going to be a trainer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I haven't got a double barrel name or a hyphen. And Yet. And, you know, next best thing, isn't it? Own it and live your dreams vicariously to, you know, your horse. I'm just being very, very lucky.
And you started in the music industry, didn't you? You won and lost your money in that.
Yeah, right,
sounds familiar, doesn't it? Sounds a bit like horse racing.
I've just carried on. Well, yeah, I was a singer, and then I was a writer for 20 odd years in music, and then I sort of fell out of love for that, and then I went into renewable energy business about 15 years ago, and that's where I am now, and that's where I'm not like, I'm not Michael O'Leary. Mind you, though, I can promise you, if we win the national, it won't be a 2-drink maximum on a Ryanair flight. You know what I mean?
Well, I've seen your barber at the Hollow Bottom. That week, 2 years ago, is it? It'd been November 2017 when you won the Bet Victor. I mean, was that beyond your wildest dreams? That kind of success, or did the Betfair hurdle give you a taste of it?
Do you know what's really funny about these things is sort of, they just have, you feel like you're in a bubble at the time. Now when you look back, like on the morning of the race, it started to rain about 9 o'clock in the morning. We're all sat in the Hollow. I'm having a pint of cider, you know, thinking, it'll be a nice day. I said, it'd be nice if this rain stays on. And then the staff, we've been here all week having a drink. You know, we've been at the meeting. And we said, do you want us to give you the tip, or do you want us to throw you a few bob on the horse? Like, so anyway, Pete, who runs the Ginge Army sort of financial side, which was the reason we're skint, he put them 50 quid each way, or 50 to 1. And, you know, and it just feels like these things seem to happen. Yeah. And you think, you know, this is going to... And then, the more the rain came, and he was off... Look, I think the one thing about this lad and our horses, we've been very, very lucky in general, is when the opportunities come his way, he grabs them.
And is that why it's been important that... I mean, that's kind of Nigel's mantra, isn't it? That you roll the dice when you've got the horse, take your opportunities when you've got the chance, because you never know what tomorrow might bring.
Well, I love it, because I'm in the office sometimes when your esteemed colleagues will give Nigel a ring and they'll say, you know, how Splashy Ginge, is he okay? And Nigel go, no, he's absolutely woeful, he's school terrible, but we're going to run anyway. You know?
There's the late unlucky Starkitect. I mean, when you look back at that race, actually, given what he was...
I knew you'd show this dancing thing. You couldn't wait to wheel it out.
What is that, John?
That is called flying down the left wing for Liverpool. Look at that. I mean, beautiful textbook.
You almost can't quantify what that means. Anyway, listen, anyone who's had a bet that's come off in a big race feels a bit like that. But to own a horse, to know all the people involved, that must be pretty special. And
to always have your mates there with you, and you know, your family around you, and the reason that was an extra special day as well. Sam was injured at the time. Obviously, Belzy did ride. We obviously knew Ryan was coming to the end of his personal battle with injury and stuff. Willie was there. Everyone was there on the day, you know. And obviously, Belzy had written out his claim the year before. He'd been struggling for rides, and it's just one of them days. There's always a story with this horse, you know. Like when he won his other race at Cheltenham, Jamie Barger, he jumped on and Ryan broke his collarbone. There's always been a story, you know. And it's amazing. I'll never, ever, ever forget that day in particular, because it was absolutely lashing down with rain. I was covered in mud from head to toe, and I've never been so happy in my life.
Well, do you know what, folks? What goes up must come down. You know that's true.
But to be fair, see, that is, and I remember you coming up for, that is about 8 o'clock, 7:30 the next morning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's the trophy.
There's the trophy,
There's some of the remnants of life.
There's the one you have to give back, is the old one on the left. You've got to give that one back. The one on the right is what you get to keep.
So that Splasher Ginge, those are the great days. Can the Hollow Ginge replicate some of that for you?
I think he can. I think he's more of an... I mean, we've always had a dream of running Splasher Ginge in the National, but the Hollow Ginge is obviously more of a prospective Grand National horse. He's only 6. his first 2 races, one at Worcester, one at, beat a good couple of horses there, and obviously the form of the third came out, the conditional came out, and he won at Cheltenham. He bolted up. Obviously now everyone will say that we're not that good and he wasn't fit and all that, but we'll take that. We're all right with being the underdog. Really suits us. But we'll aim him. Nigel's watching this night and he's going to say, you haven't got a clue, so shut your mouth. I'd like to aim him at the Midlands National at the end of this year, and hopefully we'll go Grand National next year, but we'll have to wait and see what the lads say. He's in with a few of the lads from the pub are involved in that also. Well, they're all very excited, so we'll see what happens.
Well, he's only, what, is he 6?
He's 6, yeah.
So he's a young horse. He's only had 2 starts over fences, but as Nigel will say, you're already knocking on the fringe of bottom weight.
Well, I think the thing is as well, you can't guarantee they're going to be fit next year. It's all right me sat here saying, we'll go 2021. Yeah. You're assuming an awful lot of things. There's an awful lot of variables with horses and horse racing, but look, if he does win, if he does run in the National, that'll be great, but winning, it's the aim, and we'll win it one day with something. And
your son rides now. I mean, he's a bit like a young Kieran Fallon Jr., isn't he? I mean, he hadn't.
You're comparing me to Kieran Fallon.
But I love that. He'd never ridden a horse a few years ago.
No, he hadn't. No, and then we were having a little bit of fractious arguments, me and him, about what he was going to do with his life. Yeah. And he came in one day and he said, I'm going to racing school. And he went for the interview and he got in at Newmarket, went there. And shortly afterwards, he got a job with Andrew Balding. They were fantastic with him. He learned a massive amount there. Andrew and Annalisa and all the team there really, give him a strong education, as you say.
What a place to start.
Amazing, and he really loved it, Jamie, and now he's with Harry Whittington, and he's the amateur at Harry's Yard. So yeah, it's going well for him. And look, it's like everything in life. All you want for your kids is to be happy. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have picked him riding in races and falling off horses at 30 mile an hour as a job for your son, but he's happy and he's got a focus in life, and he's found a home there at Harry's, and he.
Fantastic. It's only a couple of years ago I would have seen him in a pub down at the Hollow.
Yeah.
And he literally didn't seem like he had any clue what he wanted to do.
Never sat. He was a footballer. He was a good young footballer, and then lost his way in that sphere, obviously. But then, as soon as he found horses, he's happy, and he lives in a house with Rob Hornby now, who would call me. He's my 3rd son, so but he's he's doing really well, and I say he's found home at Harry there, and Harry and Joe and the team there that really support him. So he's doing great.
So the dream would have to be. You've got a Grand National contender in let's say it's someone else apart from the Hollow Ginge, in 2 or 3 years' time, and Jamie's made the transition from amateur, maybe to conditional, maybe to pro. If that would be the dream, would it?
I think that's up to him. Look, at the moment, I think he's taking it one day at a time with everything. He's just trying to, how difficult this game is. I mean, we're going to speak to Hutchie in a bit, and life is incredibly difficult in this game. But I think the idea, we bought a horse for him to ride as well for us this spring. We bought Townsend.
Oh, from Ireland.
Yeah. He was with William Mullins, and then he was with Nige last year, Million and Mine. So Anthony Bromley obviously runs the Million and Mine Syndicate, so we knew a lot about the horse. So we bought him, and hopefully he'll run all the big amateur races in the spring, and that'll give Jamie hopefully a taste of what it's like around a national fences, and see how we get on from there.
And are you fearful of him when he goes out there? It's such a tough game. I know you're a big fan of boxing as well. It's another hard, tough game.
I'll tell you what I'm more fearful of in this day and age is him going out on a Saturday night somewhere.
Yeah.
If I'm totally honest with you, the way that we're going, at least, all right, I know he's got the dangers of the job, but, there's far more things out there he could be doing which is worse than riding a horse. Look, it's a dangerous job. I don't think there's many in this world with an ambulance follow you around, at work every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they won't let you run unless the ambulance is behind you. That tells all you need to know about being a jockey.
And your other son writes about boxing, actually. Has sport always been a big thing in the family?
Yeah, it's quite... That sort of... I mean, my son was always that. My daughter, Anna, as well, she worked at Newsells for 3 years, and she's about to move back into the bloodstock side of things. So yeah, I don't know, this has all come from Splash of Ginge. It's a bit mad. And even the boxing side, Jordan just started taking an interest in the journalism side, and then he's obviously grown that with his love of boxing. He's put those two together, and then so I think Splash of Ginge is responsible for a lot of career moves.
It's interesting because the theme of today's show is kind of the power of horses, what they can do to transform lives, what they can do for careers, what they can do for relationships, friends, and so on. It's true, isn't it? I mean, horse racing as a sport, but horses for young people, it's incredible.
Absolutely, but you look at Nige himself. Like, Nige will tell you, he was on the edge of giving up. You know what I mean? When
Absolutely,
when Bindery won the national, I think it was Bindery, something. No, Bindery, so. And then he thought, no, I'll carry on for my lads. Now look what his lads have done. And that's the power of horse racing. And one race can give Nige that impetus to go out again and, and to keep at it. And here we are, 17 years later, and he's still winning the Charlie Hall for the umpteenth time, whatever he's done. And,
Yeah.
you know, and that's what racing does. I think that's why we all love it, and I think that's why we're all in it.
And you've got a band of merry pals along the way as well, the Ginge Army. Who and how many are the Ginge Army?
Oh, it's a very fluid system. Once he loses a few, we lose a few members.
Is there a subs bench? Are the people watching?
No, there's no subs. We had a load of lads over from 6 Mile Bridge yesterday. We have a lot of our young horses out there, so a load of lads, Cyril Crow and all his mates were over yesterday, but they've flown home today. Well, I'm assuming they made the flight from Manchester last night. We'll find out. But they were over yesterday. It was 12 of them, and then there's the family and the mates. We can number. I think the most we ever got was Betford Hurdle Day. I think we had 40 odd of us, all with owners and saying badges, and they were pulling their hair out at Newbury, but thankfully we won, so we got away with it.
And to get so close to Cheltenham Festival winner, was that painful, frustrating? You seem to take it well. You seem to take it quite sportingly. Were you covering up a bit of pain underneath?
Oh God, yeah, I was ripped. But what was amazing on that day was when we got beat by a well-handicapped horse. We got beat fair and square, so there's no hard luck stories. You know, I was Jamie, who had a great race, and we went all the way to the line, and this thing has beat us. You know, but what I thought was amazing that day is when we came in, and we came in second. And obviously, they hold the winner back, and the reception of. You know, I was crying my eyes out, you know, because I'm a soft get anyway.
Cheltenham does that so well. I say Cheltenham, I say, we as the collective at Cheltenham do that so well. I remember the response when Well Chief finished second in the champion chase. And it was one of the biggest cheers you'd ever hear.
I've never experienced nothing like it. It was, I know it's cliche, but the hairs on the back of my neck stood up, and I was just, and the girl who looks after the Gemma, she was crying, I was crying. And I'm going, look, you know, we've come second. It's not, but not many horses get a reception like that for coming second. Then.
Subscribe to Racing TV to be notified when more Luck on Sunday videos are appearing online, and don't forget to join me for the show every Sunday morning from 9 o'clock with the best guests.